Welcome to Crazy Tech. In this video, we are going to discuss about Fourier transform. Okay, so guys, stick with me. This is the fundamental Fourier transform, which you are going to need it millions of time in your signal processing tutorial. Okay, so I will make you crystal clear about Fourier transform in practical aspect. Okay, I am not going to discuss any theory about Fourier transform, and you will have a clarity about how actually Fourier transform is going to happen. Okay, so let's begin with a sensor. This is a sensor. Okay, it is giving you a continuous signal, which is xt. So my computer can't able to process the continuous signal until unless it is being sampled. Okay, let's say it is sampled with a sampling frequency of fs. Okay, now I am having a digital signal or discrete signal xn. Okay, now let's say, for sake of your convenience, I am taking only 4 samples. 1, 2, 3, 4. These are values. Its magnitude 1 volt, 2 volt, 3 volt, 4 volt. I am having 4 samples starting with position 0. This is 0th position, first, second, third position. Now what I am going to do, I want to convert this frequency domain time domain samples in frequency domain by using Fourier transform. Okay, so for transforming by using Fourier transform, I have a formula. Okay, don't bother about this formula. I'm not going to use it. For your understanding, I am writing this formula: n minus 1 xn e to the power minus j 2 pi divided by n into n, where capital N is total number of samples. These are 4 samples, so capital N is 4 and n is this position 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so theoretically I can able to convert this discrete signal into Fourier transform by using this formula, but my MATLAB has a function which is called FFT, which does the same thing. Okay, so I don't bother about this formula. So FFT, what it does, it converts this frequency time domain signal into frequency domain signal. Let's say its magnitude is A1, A2, A3, A4. Okay, so my Fourier transform function will give me this value, but what I need its frequency component. What frequency does it A hold, and what frequency A2 have, what frequency A4 have. Okay, I need the frequency components. Okay, and here you go. This is the Fourier transform of this signal. This signal has got transformed to these values. Okay, now I have to find out these frequencies of these values. First value, I need your attention, please be attentive. First value has a frequency 0. Okay, so its frequency 0 means it's a DC component of my signal. Okay, you may aware of that formula xn 0 to n minus 1. It is the DC value of any discrete signal. Okay, so Fourier transform does the same thing. Sum this value, it is 0. Sum of xn 1 plus 2 3 plus 3 6 plus 4 10, 10 divided by total number of elements, that 10 divided by 4, I think it's 2.5. So a1 is 2.5, which so MATLAB already already have calculated a1 is 2.5. We don't have to calculate again. So my concern is to find the frequency component. So it is the DC component. First value is DC component which have frequency 0, but and the frequency of a4. Okay, so I have told you in my previous video, if you guys have not watched that video, I have provided a link below in description box. Just go and watch that video before continuing this session. But for timing, I am telling you that if you have sampled a signal with a sampling frequency fs, you are going to have maximum of fs by 2 in your Fourier transform component. Let's say you have sampled with a 8000 Hz. So maximum frequency you can get here is 4000. Clear? So beyond 4000 I can't able to get any signal because I have sampled it with a sample frequency of 8000. Okay, so now I have first component as frequency equals 0, last component is having frequency of 4000. So now I am going to divide this value with equal interval, equal spacing, which is around 1333.3. okay, so divide this 4000 in 3 equal spacing, which is 133.3. so this frequency of this component a2 is 0 plus spacing, 0 plus 133.33, means this value is 133.33.3 Hz. Now this value is 133.33 plus spacing 133.33, which is 266.66 Hz. Now again 266.6 is plus spacing 133. You will have last component 4000. So first value has frequency of 0 Hz, last value has frequency of 4000, which is fs by 2, and I have to divide fs 4000 with 3 equal spacing, which is 133.33. then I can get values of other components, frequency component also. So now you can see here I have only 4 frequency components: 0, 133.33 Hz, 266.66 Hz, and 4000. Okay, but what if I want what is the magnitude of frequency component 100 Hz? Okay, because I don't have any values to justify my 100 Hz magnitude. I don't have any points here. So for more clarity, I need more samples. Okay, I have only 4 samples, that I have 4 frequency component. If I have 16 samples, I have 16 frequency components. Okay, so in my professional point of view, I will recommend that you should take at least fs by 8 samples. Okay, if your sensor is giving means infinite number of samples, I recommend you to take at least fs of by 8 samples, means fs is 8000, so you should take 1000 samples at least for more clarity. Okay, now let's note down some points. Okay, always take 2 to the power n number of samples. I will tell you why. Just finish this. You have to take 2, 4, 16, 32, 64 like this, means 2 to the power n number of samples. Because FFT generally in theory FFT we have to take 2 to the power n number of points. Okay. So let's say if you are having 200 samples only, so how do you get 2 to the power n number of points? You don't have, because you have only 200 samples. So I will suggest you don't have, if you don't have more than 200 samples, so append zeros in its tail to make it 256. Okay. So if you take 200 points and make it Fourier transform, then you will not get any error. But making 256 samples, or in the form of 2 to the power n number of samples, you will get exact component of your magnitude. Okay. So append 0 to make it 2 to the power n. So in Fourier, then second point is your first frequency is always 0 Hz, and your last frequency is fs by 2 Hz, and divide the last frequency in number of points, and you will get frequency component of other samples. Okay. So this is the all about the theory. Let's start implementing in my in MATLAB program. Let's I have 10 samples, 1 to 10. Okay. Now the sample frequency I do have, let's say it's 8000. Okay. Now first measure the length of x1. len, there is a function called length x1. Okay, run it. Okay, length is equal to 10. So I have told you that irrespective of the number of samples, you have to make it in the form of 2 to the power n. Okay. So I have 10 samples. The nearest 2 to the power n is, which is 2 to the power 4, which is 16. So I have to make it 2 to the power 16 by appending zeros in its tail. Okay. So there is a function called it's just pow, next power 2. Yes. So you can see here n is equal to 16. So it automatically detects that what is your nearest to the power n number of element. Okay, it's 16. Now y is equal to, there is a function I have told you, this is FFT of x1, and here you can say Intel says suggest us that the next value should be n. What n? The next to the power n, which you have calculated already, which is capital N. Okay. So I have told you that I have to append zeros here, but I don't have to do this, because in FFT x1 n I have provided a argument of capital N. It already detects that if x1 doesn't have value of 2 to the power n, means which in our case 16, it automatically appends zeros in its tail. Okay, you don't have to append it manually. Okay, FFT function will take care of it. Now run this. Here you go, value of y. You can see here some complex numbers. Okay, so let me analyze this numbers. Here you go. You have 16 elements. I think these are 6 plus 6, and this row contain 4 elements, 69 elements. So what I've just told you, the first component is your DC component. You can see here it's a real value. Okay, 0y, it's a real value. And what does 55 signifies? Here the DC value, which is nothing, summation of these elements, summation of 1 to 10, you will find out it's 55. Okay, so now the first value is your DC component. Okay, so leave this value behind. We need to consider the value between 1 to 16, 15. So you can see its position of each and individual element. If I want to let's check the first element. This is the minus 26 point something, minus 21 point something. Okay, so total number of elements is 16. 16 minus 1, which is 15. Check out 15th position, which is conjugate of this. Conjugate, you can see the imaginary part is negative and its imaginary part is positive. Is the conjugate of each other. Similarly, the second element. Okay, so total number of elements is 15. 15 minus 2 is 13. Sorry, total number of element is 16. 16 minus 2 is 14. Check out 14th position. And these two elements are conjugate of each other. Similarly, third element, 16 minus 3 is equal to 13. These two elements are conjugate of each other. Similarly, 4 conjugate of 16 minus 4, 12. 5 is conjugate of 16 minus 5, 11. Similarly, 6 is conjugate of 16 minus 6, 10. Similarly, 7 is conjugate of 16 minus 7, 9. Now check out the middle element, which is 16 by 2, which is 8th. Check out 8th position. 8th position is always a real one. Okay, now clear? The first element, which is DC component, always be a real number, and other positions having conjugate symmetry of the position relative to each others, and middle position, which is total number of element divided by 2, always be a real number. What I'm giving more importance to this conjugate symmetry, because if I have to implement a reverse Fourier transform, because okay, so in some point of time in our programming, I'll going to show you most generally is a better example is OFDM. Okay, if I want to convert a Fourier transform to its inverse Fourier transform, okay, if my Fourier transform does not satisfy this property, conjugate symmetry property, then my inverse Fourier transform doesn't have the real value. Okay, if, mark my word, if my sample value is real, then my Fourier transform will be conjugate symmetric, follow the conjugate symmetry property. Okay, and vice versa. If I have a complex value, if it does not satisfy the conjugate symmetry property, then reverse Fourier transform or inverse Fourier transform will never give you real value. It always be a complex value. Okay, you have to take care of this property. Okay, this is a why I need these frequency components. Okay, Fourier transform function does not give you the frequency component by itself. You have to calculate it manually. So calculate frequency. Frequency is equal to the maximum frequency you can get, which is fs by 2. Okay, I have to divide it in equal number of parts. Line space 0, 1, total number of elements 0. Just hold on second, I'll describe it. Line space I think it should be linspace. Yes, yes. Okay, so what does linspace does? Just check it out. I have already I've guys already discussed it linspace what it does in my MATLAB series for beginners. If you want to watch that video series, just go to my YouTube channel and you can learn there. For timing, I am telling what does linspace does here. It equally divides the value between 0 to 1 in total number of elements which I provided here, which is capital N. So I have 16 equally spaced values between 0 to 1. Okay, let's see here in answer. Okay, I have total 16 number of values 0 to 1 equally spaced. Okay, now I am going to multiply it with total maximum frequency I have. So I can get a equally spaced frequency component between 1 to 16. Okay, so check it out. Frequency, you can see here frequency component 0 to 4000, which is equally spaced in hertz. Okay, now I'm going to plot it. Remember, y is here is a complex value, so I don't need complex value, I need absolute value. So I have to do ABS function which converts complex value into absolute value, and also I have to divide it by total number of element. Remember, I have told you here that formula is 1 upon n, and this function FFT only provides the realization of this function, but I have to divide total number of elements by manually. Now plot it. Figure 1, plot first x-axis, which is y1, sorry, x-axis frequency, comma y. Let's make it stem. I want discrete component. You can also use plot here. Sorry, here, run it. Now you can see here you have frequency components and also your magnitudes. Click on it. Its magnitude is 2.1193 and frequency component 266.7 Hertz. Okay, now you can see here I have 0 at 0.3.5, then next frequency I can get 266. Why? Because I have taken only 16 samples. Okay, had I been taken 1024 number of samples, you would have got the frequency component more closely spaced. Okay, so let's see. Let's have a value x1 is equal to random number 1 to 1000 and run it. Let's say it's rand n. In frequency between 0 to 4000, I have 1024 number of samples. Here you can see here it's the frequency of 637.3 Hertz, and the next frequency is 695.99 Hertz. So you can see here the frequencies are closely spaced. Okay, if you want it more close to each other, let's say you want it let's say 1 Hertz apart, So you need to increase the samples value. Okay, as simple as it is. Okay, so now see here y. Let's say y1, make it like this. Y is equal to absolute of y1. Run it. Okay, now see here in y1, the first element, you can see here, first element is a real number which is DC value, and middle element which is 1024 by 2, its total length is 1024 divided 2, which is I think 512. Okay, so here you can see actually it is the 0th position. It is actually 0th position, but in MATLAB the position is indicating starting with 1. So guys, be careful. Actually it is the 0th position. This 0th position you have your DC value 32.4934, and this is I have told you what is the middle value, which is total element is 1024 divided by 2, which is 512. Okay, as the position is started with a increment of 1, it should be 0. It started with 1, so 512 plus 1 means 513. Position of 513 should be a DC value. Check it out. 513 is a DC value. You can see here imaginary part is 0. Okay, now you can see here that element is in conjugate symmetry order. Let's check it. This first element, which is minus 18.162, and complex value, the imaginary part is 14.85. so check here the last element also. Here minus 18.162 and plus 14.85. okay, so now it is following the conjugate symmetry property. I hope you are clear with Fourier transform. If you have any doubt, guys, feel free to comment in comment box, and I'm going to need this Fourier transform infinite number of times in our upcoming signal processing videos. Okay, so stay tuned. Have a good day. Take care. Bye bye.